Home prices stay in the mid 500s to low 600s, property taxes that just hit a 56-year low, and public schools that compete with elite private schools. Sounds perfect, right? But that's not the full picture. When you live in Naperville, there are hidden costs most people don't see, traffic issues nobody warned you about, and a few neighborhoods that are overpriced for what you get. In this video, I'm breaking down what it's really like living in Naperville in 2026. And after working with hundreds of people moving in and around the Chicago suburbs, I've seen exactly what works, what doesn't, and who Naperville actually makes sense for. But if you don't know me yet, I'm Blankenship, a Chicagoland realtor helping people like you move in and around the area. So when the time is right for you, reach out, as I would love to help you. And my goal with this channel is to make it your go-to resource for all things Chicagoland. So make sure you like this video and hit the subscribe. All right though, let's dive in because something big just changed. Illinois just crowned a new third largest city, and it's causing some real market chaos. Naperville just crossed 153,000 people, and this isn't slow, steady growth. People are moving in fast, and it's putting real pressure on the housing market. Home prices jumped 5.3% over the past year, but there's only about 2 months of inventory. A healthy market usually sits closer to 4 to 6 months, and here's the thing. This city is growing at the same time Chicago is losing residents. You've got young professionals heading out of the city, families chasing top-rated school districts, and empty nesters who still want great food, culture, and walkability, just without the city headaches. What's happening is Naperville has become a magnet for 3 different groups of buyers all at the same time. And just wait until you see what major developments are doing to property values. We'll get into that in just a bit, so stick around. Now, that's creating demand we really haven't seen before. But all this growth comes with a price tag that most people don't see coming, at least not until it's too late. Everyone talks about home prices here, but the real monthly cost is what usually catches people off guard. Right now, when I cross-check Redfin and Zillow, median home prices sit in the mid 500s to low 600s. Entry-level homes with 3 bedrooms and 2 baths usually start in the low 400s. Newer construction, especially in the top school districts, pushes into the high 600s and higher, and once you get into luxury neighborhoods, prices range from the low $1 million to well over $5 million. But there is some good news on the property tax side. Naperville just hit its lowest tax rate in 56 years, coming in at 0.627. Sounds great, right? The real question is what that means for your monthly payment. Even with that lower rate, the total bill can still be high because home values are higher across the board. Overall, Naperville runs about 33% higher than the national average. Groceries come in around 5% above national levels. Healthcare is closer to 13% higher, and one of the few areas that helps balance things out is utilities, which actually tend to be lower than in many nearby suburbs. But one thing really stands out. Some of the trends heading into 2026, which I'll break down later, show one specific group of people reshaping the market in a big way. So stay with me. So at the end of the day, you're paying more upfront here, no question, and the trade-off is long-term value. And the real question becomes whether those higher prices actually deliver higher value, starting with education. But real quick, before we keep going, if you're thinking about Naperville, this is exactly what I do every single day. I help people figure out which neighborhood actually fits their lifestyle, and I can also help you avoid spots that look good on paper but don't deliver in real life for the lifestyle that you're looking for. All my contact info is down below in the description, and let's get back to it. I know A+ ratings all get all the attention, but the way these schools actually work is what changes how people look at this area. District 203 ranks 11th in Illinois and 41st nationally with an A+ rating on niche.com. Naperville Central and Naperville North both land in the top 25 statewide. Average SAT scores sit at 1200 plus, and you've got strong STEM programs, full arts offering, and state championship level sports. District 204 ranks even higher, coming in 10th in Illinois and 29th nationally, also with an A+ rating on niche, and this district is known for innovative programs and broad language offerings, which are a big draw for families and professionals relocating from larger metros. But test scores don't tell the full story here. What really separates Naperville schools is how they handle different learning styles. Post-pandemic, a growing share of students are now enrolled in hybrid learning programs, and on top of that, College of DuPage page offers direct transfer pathways to top universities. Now, here's the reality check. You still need to do your homework on individual schools, and that boundary factor leads directly into the next place, because those school lines don't just affect education, they create real price gaps across neighborhoods, and that's where smart buyers start finding leverage. And when you break this down by budget, you start to see which neighborhoods are still flying under the radar. Let's start at the more accessible end of the market. Carriage Hill and Steeple Run are where the values really show up. These neighborhoods usually sit just under $600,000 with homes built in the 1970s. You're getting mature trees and those classic two-story layouts people still love today. You're close to the DuPage River Trail, the downtown library, and you get District 203 for Naperville schools. This setup works well if you're trying to get into Naperville schools without paying top dollar, especially if you're watching your budget or buying for the first time. Now, as you move up into the $600,000 to $900,000 range, Stillwater really stands out. Average prices are right around the high 800s with homes mostly from the 1990s. Some of the newer sections push into the low $1 million range, and keep that appreciation number in mind when we talk about who Naperville actually works for, because the trends shaping 2026 are going to change how people look at all these areas. So stay with me here. Now, a big reason this place keeps performing the way is what you get day to day is that you've got the tennis club, Springbrook Golf Course nearby, and District 204 with Welch Elementary. So this range makes sense if you want newer homes, strong schools, and a good balance of space and amenities. But if character and history matter more to you, look at the $750K to $1 million range, and the historic district offers exactly just that. Average prices sit right around $730,000 for Victorian and Queen Anne homes from the late 1800s and early 1900s. You can walk to downtown, the train station, Ellsworth Elementary, and Washington Junior High, and this is the right fit if walkability, charm, and older architecture are high on your list. At the top end, $1 million and up, White Eagle is a great premium option. You'll find single-family homes, estates, and townhomes, many with golf course views and newer construction. The clubhouse, pools, and tennis courts give it a resort-style feel, all within District 204. This tends to attract buyers looking for space, privacy, and higher-end amenities. But before you lock onto any one neighborhood, there's one more thing you need to factor in. The daily commute can make or break the experience, and that's what we need to talk about next. On paper, the BNSF express times look great, but the real test is what it feels like when you hit Route 59 during school drop-off. If you're heading into downtown Chicago, the Metro BNSF line runs about 50 to 60 minutes on the express to Union Station. Driving is roughly right around 30-ish miles and can take anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour with no traffic, but once rush hour hits though, that turns into an hour plus pretty fast. From some perspective, that's actually quicker than commuting from some parts of the city. Highway access is solid as well. You're right near I-88 for Chicago. Oak Brook is about 20 to 30 minutes away. Bolingbrook is closer to 15 to 20 minutes, and Aurora is basically right next door. Both O'Hare and Midway usually sit right around 45 minutes away, and you've also got major employers like Nokia, Nicor Gas, and BP with operations here. On top of that, the I-88 corridor is packed with companies. Compared to the infrastructure challenges we'll get into shortly, the commute right now is manageable. But that balance is starting to shift. I'll get there in just a second, and now let's talk about car dependency. Downtown is walkable and easy to get around. Outside of the area, you're going to need a car. The city has added over 100 EV charging stations, which helps, but driving is still part of daily life here. And this is where the pain shows up. The Route 59 corridor can turn into a parking lot during rush hour. 75th Street and Washington Street back up fast, and what should be a 10-minute drive can easily stretch to 25 or 30 minutes at peak times. School drop-off and pickup make it worse, and winter weather can double commute times. But when traffic isn't an issue, you start to see why people are willing to pay a premium just to live in Naperville. And that right there is what we need to talk about next. If you really want to understand the city, the Riverwalk tells you almost everything you need to know about Naperville's future. This 1.75 mile path runs right through town with fountains, bridges, and public art. The southern expansion is underway with the Eagle Street Gateway completed in November 2025 and the South Gateway extending to Martin Avenue by summer of 2026. It's one of those places people love, walking, photos, sitting by the water, that kind of thing. and downtown Naperville is packed with over 300 shops and restaurants, and it's not just chains. You've got local favorites mixed in with bigger names, places like Sullivan's Steakhouse, Hugo's, Solemn Oath Brewery, 64 Wine Bar, and Everdean's, which people love for that grilled cheese sandwich. You've also got a lot built around daily life. The DuPage Trojans Museum sits right downtown. Centennial Beach is here too, with that 6-acre quarry swimming area, and there are over 140 parks, all maintained by the Park District. For recreation as well, there's honestly no shortage. Springbrook and Naperbrook golf courses, the Nike Sports Complex, Naperville Yard for indoor sports, plus miles of biking and hiking trails throughout the area. Events happen all the time: wine walks, outdoor concerts, farmers markets. From spring through fall, there's usually something going on every single weekend. The library system is another standout. It's ranked one of the best in the country and offers everything from coding classes to financial literacy programs and even tool lending. And the best part is that the city leans into smart tech. The See Click Fix app lets you report issues, pay bills, and check real-time parking updates. All of this creates the lifestyle people are drawn to. But there's also an infrastructure challenge tied to this growth that could affect daily life for years, and that's what we need to talk about next. Naperville is putting $190 million into infrastructure projects for 2026. That's about 6% higher than last year, and that kind of jump usually means one thing: the system is feeling the pressure from fast growth. The electric grid is a big part of that. Upgrades alone are costing around $27 million, which is double what was spent last year. The city is trying to keep up with new homes and new businesses coming online at the same time. And this strain shows up differently depending on where you live. Some neighborhoods handle growth better than others, and now water and wastewater are another issue. The city now needs to replace about 6.5 miles of pipe every year, up from just 3 miles before. Older systems weren't built for this level of growth, and they're already being pushed hard. The timing honestly doesn't help either. In September 2025, Naperville City Council approved implementing a 1% local grocery tax to replace the state's 1% grocery tax that was eliminated effective January 1st, 2026. This new tax is meant to bring in about $6.5 million a year, helping cover what the city lost from the state. Construction is going to be part of life here for quite a while as well in Naperville. Some areas will feel it more than others, and service interruptions are possible, and in certain spots, they're likely. The good news though is the city isn't ignoring the problem. There are major development projects underway that could help relieve some of these capacity issues while also creating new opportunities as well. This is where things get interesting, especially if you're paying attention to timing. Right now, a lot of smart buyers are looking within about a half mile of Block 59. That's where the window is, and it's roughly 18 months in my opinion. Block 59 is a $53+ million project spread across 16 acres along Route 59. It's bringing in places like Cheesecake Factory, Yard House, and Roots Chris. Brands like this don't just move in unless the area checks a lot of boxes. Homes nearby are already starting to see price bumps, and another big project is the 5th Avenue Transit-oriented development. It covers about 13 acres and is being guided by the Urban Land Institute. The focus is on the missing middle housing and better transit access, and zoning conversations are still happening at Planning Commission meetings right now, so this is something to look out for. You've also got the Riverwalk expansion with over $15 million going into upgrades, and that's another sign the city is thinking about long-term and doubling down on its core areas. The key is timing. Buyers moving near these projects now are getting in ahead of the curve. Once construction wraps up, values tend to jump, and that 12 to 18 month window is where advantage usually sits. Understanding these developments help you decide if Naperville actually lines up with your lifestyle and long-term goals and vision. So let's be honest right up front, and if Naperville is for you or not. Naperville works really well for people and families who are seeking top-rated schools, and if you want a suburban setup but still want access to the best city in the world, aka Chicago, this gives you a strong mix of both. You get space, structure, and schools without feeling completely disconnected. This also works well for people who like being a part of an active community. Events, parks, and amenities are a big part of everyday life here. Remote and hybrid workers do well too, since they're not dealing with the commute every single day, and for anyone looking for established, well-planned neighborhoods, this checks a lot of boxes also. But Naperville really isn't for everyone, and if you're chasing a true big city vibe, Chicago neighborhoods are probably a better fit. And if you're on a budget that you want a little less from what I talked about, there are other suburbs where your money will definitely go much further that I feel like has a lot of appreciation. And if you really hate traffic or longer commute times, that can be a tough adjustment here as well. The same goes for anyone expecting brand new, modern infrastructure everywhere. Expectations definitely do matter when making a move here. All of that becomes even more important once you understand how the population here is changing, because those shifts are already reshaping the market. One of the biggest changes going on right now is the rise of empty nesters, and it's changing how this market works. Downtown is shifting as well, with new luxury apartments are pulling in more young professionals, and the Water Street district is creating a more urban feel, but in a suburban setting. At the same time, demand from the 55 plus crowd keeps growing, active adult communities are gaining momentum, and ranch style homes and layouts with first floor primary bedrooms are in much higher demand than they ever used to be before. Remote work is another big driver. More people are moving out of Chicago, which has eased rush hour a bit, but traffic is still part of the picture. When you zoom in by neighborhoods, the trends get even clearer. Areas in South neighborhood like Ashwood Park and River Run saw values jump about 2% last year, and in Central Naperville, older neighborhoods are seeing a wave of renovations as buyers update existing homes instead of building new ones. Retail is definitely changing as well. Downtown continues to thrive while older strip malls are struggling. Along Route 59, you're seeing more mixed-use development replacing outdated retail. There's also a bigger focus on wellness. Trail expansions, new fitness spaces, and more outdoor options are shaping how people spend their time here. All of these trends creates opportunities, but timing does matter. And understand how they fit together helps smart buyers make better decisions. Naperville really does deliver on what it promises, but it only works if you're comfortable with the price and the traffic that it all comes with it. The people who do best here understand they're paying for long-term value. If you're thinking about making a move here to Naperville, I would love to help you out on that move. Just shoot me an email and you'll find all my info down below in the description or the pinned comment. And if you want more context before you decide if Naperville is just for you, I just compared Naperville to 9 other DuPage County suburbs. You'll want to see where Naperville really lands in the top 10 western suburbs, but at the end of the day, the right suburb is what fits your lifestyle and your goals for the future. So watch that video next, and I will see you guys on the next video.